My name is Nick, I'm a full-time Forex trader and entrepreneur, and at 22 years old, I quit my software job, which was paying me $70,000 a year to trade Forex and start a business. It's been a crazy ride so far, and without further ado, welcome to my life. Currently, I am taking a look here at AUDUSD, and you can see I've got a buy stop order here on this particular trade. I'm looking basically to get long if price breaks through this daily kind of close. This point on the chart is where we had some resistance, we had some sellers step in and push price down. So if we get one big break above that, I'm looking to basically get long on the break or the buy stop setup here that I've got. I'm using a small position size right now. We've got a lot of stuff in the headlines, some scary stuff that's kind of keeping people a little bit fearful, and we've seen a lot of volatility pick up recently, so my position size is relatively small on this trade. Just wanted to catch this move because it is a pattern that I like to take advantage of. You can see we've kind of got this kind of upward trend line, we've got this point of resistance, and you can see if buyers break through this level, I think that there's a pretty good chance we get a nice little run up to this longer term level. If we back it up maybe to the, let's see if we can get it on the 4-hour chart. You can see on the 4-hour chart this kind of pivotal moment right here where we basically fell through and found resistance. That's where I'd basically be looking to get out of my trade. We'll see if we can get it to work out. What's up, traders? If you don't already know me, my name is Nick, also known as Trader Nick here on YouTube, and I run basically a company here where we offer services to traders. We provide an online community, we build software tools, all that sort of good stuff to traders here at A1 Trading. We've got a little team and a little office space here in a beautiful Atlanta. It's not so bad. And what we basically do here is we talk markets. I trade my own money, and I'm constantly working to watch the markets and catch current events. Here on the channel, we share all sorts of kind of different current events as well as market analysis and strategies and tips and things that I've learned painfully in some cases throughout my time in the market. Trading is like a business. Here's the thing. Most businesses fail. People come to trading looking for that extra income on the side, thinking that it's going to be a quick and easy way to make extra income. The reality is very different. It's much like starting a business, and it is not easy. There are times when trading gets tough and it gets hard and it does not easy, and it's like, well, what am I doing, right? What am I, you start questioning yourselves, and this happens to every trader. Much like how somebody who is religious might have doubts in their faith where they have questions, when traders have doubts in their trading plan, this is kind of like a test of time. This is a test to see if what you're doing is really valid. And it comes down to something very simple. When traders get put into tough situations, they have one of two options. They can get tough or they can give up. And unfortunately, most traders give up. Most traders kind of move on from trading because they think it's too hard and that it's stupid and it's gambling, and they make all these kind of excuses for why they failed. When the reality is the only people who really I've seen succeed in trading are people with a tough mindset, with a kind of go-getter attitude, who have, a lot of discipline and a lot of kind of dedication to what they're doing and a passion for markets. Got Will over here. What's going on, bro?
Hey, what's up, man?
What you working on?
Just editing a new video about the VIP membership.
Nice, dude. So we are here in the office. Look at that that fancy headphone. I love it.
Right.
Wear them on the head.
Up top like that.
Standard editing style. Will, how did we meet, bro?
How did we meet?
Do you remember?
Man. Yeah, I remember. It was crazy because I was just getting into trading. I was a bit skeptical about the world, to be honest, because I had done a couple memberships with different trading providers or trading services. And it was like all about signing people up underneath each other. I told Nick this when I first talked to him.
Not naming any names.
Not naming any names, but it was like very MLM heavy, right?
Right.
And I figured that's not really what I want to do, because it failed because I couldn't sign anyone up because I couldn't make any money because I didn't know how to trade.
Right.
That's when I came across Nick on Telegram somehow. I just came across like the channel.
Yeah, and we started just talking back and forth. We actually we talked for a little while, we hung out for a little bit, and then some time went by and I noticed you had a YouTube channel.
Exactly.
You had a YouTube channel, and I started asking you because back then I was like a YouTube baby. I was just getting involved in the YouTube world, and you gave me some tips.
Yeah. Gave you lots of tips like on how to grow, SEO, like the whole shebang about YouTube and how to, just grow as fast as you can. Normally, like we said before, like earlier, some people are luckier than others on YouTube, but I would say like 95% of creators, it's gonna be like a grind, and you're just gonna have to keep at it no matter what.
Definitely. And when I was actually looking to hire a full-time editor, at a certain point the company was growing and we needed somebody else on the team to help me with all the editing, because truth be told, I'm not the best editor, and Will's got a talent, so it was a match. But when I thought about getting you on the team, it was a big component of it was like, hey, you were actually super helpful to me along the way.
Right.
And so when you kind of reached out and you were like, hey, let's tell me about this offer, we made it happen.
Yeah, we made it happen all off the first initial meeting, which is crazy. Because I told him, like, when I saw the posting, I was just like, yo, like, tell me about this, because I would be super interested, because obviously, like, we've been grinding together, so this literally changes nothing other than, you see me in person. We would have been still talking and working.
Exactly.
So.
Yep, and it worked out, and the rest is history. They did gold, euro, and
oil. Do you think oil was a good one to choose? I just chose it because it looked like it was kind of going up, so.
Oil's been quite sold off recently. There's a pretty good chance that we will see some sort of bullish move in the near future. I would add one thing to that, just so, like, I believe in the video I said, like, we're at a major, like, long-term level of support. You could mention that. So, we're at a long-term level of demand or support.
Why would they sign up to get more analysis?
So what you could say in that is you could say sign up for VIP to see trades from our top analysts.
Entry, stop loss.
Let's go.
Where are we going, Nick?
There's like a little deli place. We're gonna check it out.
Awesome.
Have you walked in there, Julie?
No, I haven't. I see it from like the window of it.
You told me so I can say hi to the camera.
Oh, yeah.
Avoid the security officers.
I know.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another little session here where I'm hanging out with a friend of mine. This is a long-term friend of mine. Bobby, how's it going, man?
Going great, Nick.
Good to see you, dude.
Great to see you as always.
Yeah, so Bobby's here. We're visiting in the office. And so Bobby is a super long-term friend of mine. We've been friends since I don't even know when. Our dads worked together, and we kind of grew up together, going out on the lake and doing all sorts of fun stuff. So I wanted to talk a little about Bobby. Bobby, he's not like a super active trader or anything like that, at least from what I know. You might dabble a little bit, but we want to talk a little bit about like how the average person who is not super savvy in this stuff, who has a full-time job, has career goals outside of just trading, can get involved in the world of trading and investing. Is that kind of right? It's like
Right, absolutely. So I'd say my trading history thus far is just going on Robinhood, and kind of picking some small positions here and there, just to kind of toss some extra money over to the side.
Do you play around with options at all?
I haven't really. The furthest I've gone is Robinhood, and then maybe early on, I would kind of toy with Google had a stocks sort of tool, and you could use fake money essentially, and kind of use that and watch the charts grow and the money grow and get a realistic sense of what your money could actually be doing in the
That's
future.
cool. Yeah. I mean, we've talked about the channel and what we do here. We are predominantly Forex traders. We're looking at the markets, talking about, currencies and that sort of thing. But we also dabble in stocks. And so you've got a full-time job, you've got a full-time career, and a lot of our audience can probably relate to this. A lot of our audience, based on the metrics, are 20 to 30 years old, mostly guys, right? So that's kind of our audience, and we know that. And so a lot of people have jobs and they have full-time things that they're doing. And so what is it that you're doing currently, to actively invest your money or to look at the markets or try and participate in them? What's kind of your thing lately?
Yeah, so it's really no action, right? Not putting that money directly into the market. I'm always kind of gently watching what's going on, and I for sure want to get to the point where I'm actively starting to put that money in there and taking a look at how my money can grow in the future. And as I've just started this position, what I've really wanted to do is, since the money is starting to flow in now, taking a look at those big chunks and what I can do to, allocate that to different forms of investing. Really want a long-term plan of diversifying my income.
I think that what you mentioned about having that longer term outlook is it's such a good place to start in the world of investing and in trading, because so many people want it today, right? They want to be like, oh, I could quit my job tomorrow and stop trading or stop, working and only trade. But having that longer term plan, and that's where, slowly but surely, maybe, years down the line, a substantial part of your income could come from your investments and your trading. Right, which is really ultimately the goal.
I asked Nick about the 200 moving average here and how does he use that as an indicator for like his trading. Thought this would be a good question for my new traders out there.
Yeah, awesome. So 200 period moving average is one of my favorite indicators. So I said that to Will, and Will was like, wait, what? Because like the big thing with the 200 period moving average, to me, there's a little component that I'll add to that. I like the 200 day simple moving average. So not necessarily just the 200 on any time frame, not necessarily like the 1 hour or the 4 hour, as much as I like the 200 period simple moving average daily chart. I've got a chart pulled up here. Let me show you this really quick. As price has come down to the 200 period simple moving average, if I could figure out where my brush is, there it is. As price comes down here, what do you notice about how price is responding to it? Well, you have people buying and pushing price up off of that level. Okay, so what we see here with the 200 period moving average is it's considered in a lot of ways, especially the 200 day, a longer term area of value. Okay, so when price is trading above the 200 period, as we've seen on this very bullish market, that's considered a bullish area of value or a level of demand. So for me, I love this indicator because it generally tells you both two things. It shows you the general direction of a market, and like you mentioned before off camera, you said, well, it also shows when something is really stretched from the 200 period moving average. That can also be a significant thing too, right? If price is really far away from the 200 period, that's also an interesting indicator. So when we have this sort of thing, for me, the 200 period is a very simple kind of trend direction. So if we take a look at Euro USD, for example, and we back up, you can see just generally, when price is trading above the 200 period, I consider this a longer term on the daily chart, right, level of trend direction. And then when things swap, notice how when price starts to break under, it's a long-term downtrend or sell bias in my own trading. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Cool, okay.
On the daily though, it's...
Right, it's a long-term, daily, long-term trend indicator that I like to use.
Okay.
In that context, that's where I really like it. Not necessarily on like the 1 hour chart or the 4 hour chart. I find it more meaningful on those longer term charts.
Got you.
Cool.
Okay, awesome.
What's going on, people? Hope you guys are having a great day. We're here live on Instagram, hanging out in the office with Will and Julie, talking a little bit about how the average person with a standard job can still be involved with the markets, how you can still take the time to trade even when you are busy with a full-time job. I know it's a very busy world. I mean, that's, I still technically trade with a full-time job, even though I run, the business side of things. It's a lot of work to do that, and I still am able to trade. So it is an interesting concept, is balancing between trading and working a job at the same time. Markets are crazy right now. Okay, so I cannot figure these things out for the life of me. If you guys know what this is a Rubiks Cube, and I am not good. This thing sits on my desk, and I can never figure it out. But there's a reason this thing actually sits on my desk, and it's a reminder for me that the markets are not necessarily a huge, massive, tricky puzzle, right? A lot of times people look for the perfect way to approach it as if they were trying to solve a Rubik's Cube, right? Trying to figure out the perfect way to get things to fall into place correctly. But for me, I can figure out this a lot easier than I can figure out this, and I'll tell you why. It's because the markets are not just technicals. They're not just purely where do I get in, where do I get out, all that sort of thing. There's an essence to it, and you need to have patience. You need to have dedication to what you're doing, right? This is a little bit different because it's purely some sort of mathematical approach. And a lot of times people try and approach the market in the same way. Purpose of having this on my desk is to remind me that the biggest edge in trading does not come from trying to get the perfect technical entry. It comes from building consistency in a trading plan that you know is not always going to be perfect, but in the long run will net you more gains than you lose. So we are here in the office. It is day 3 of filming this. We are at the end of the week. It is a Friday morning, going out to lunch in a little bit, so we're kind of wrapping up the week. But I did want to thank you guys very much for watching this video, and also you guys who still made it to the end of the video. You guys are the real MVP, so thank you very much for watching. Let us know down below in the comments, did you like this sort of video? This is a newer style video that we're trying to put together, a little bit more lighthearted, entertaining, and also hopefully educational as well. Let us know down below in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel if you are not already. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you back next time.